Yeah, I caught that woman. I'll definitely crush her once in a while. The power of those two jets of black air caused the rocks to collapse. The rumbling sounds keep coming out. Today, the fate of the Black Tuin landslide plateau is hidden. Fortunately, the inhabitants of the highlands, they all came to Kwangwi City. We just rebuilt Kwangwi City. Just reconciled the new blood. It's already a chimpanzee at this point. He looked up at the moon and smiled. Li sighed. You and your group of followers protect you. Are moving forward. Suddenly, the photographer saw something. I stopped wondering what it was. Look closely, he startled. Why are so many people there pitching tents? The photographer thought the location of the tent was too close to Ra Street. If they go out, very likely to find Kwangwi City. The woman standing next to him asked, Why is that photographer? The photographer pointed to the direction of the tent and said, Can you help me spy a bit? What kind of background do those people have? What do you want to do? It doesn't matter. If I go alone, I will be protected by you. It's good that you two stay and say, yes. I think I have a little bad feeling. My dad left for half an hour. The mingle is finally back. He called out to the prince. The photographer asked how to spy. The devil is the king of the world. Recruit a lot of players. He said he discovered a place called Kwangwi City. Prepare to move there. Another said 15. Where to get out of Kwangwi City? Lam Min replied that he did not know. 3 people they talked about, and the photographer here is dark, and he thinks it's dangerous. I think it's the Dark Society. Tell them not for hundreds of years. The Dark Guild. I've never revealed this to anyone. It's clear that I consider Kwangwi to be my own thing. The devil is the world. I'm sure it was Han IP who gave this stupid name. This can also be done. I'm thinking about the barren land. Let them find out that there is a bright light. Rich and needy. Such a false power is like a wolf meeting a lamb. Even if there is only a king now, the devil knows. But there, it is also the second power of the Black Rock. Don't know, can the Holy Spirit handle them? Again, the photographer asked La Min Vu what power the devil is. There are some super-powered fakes. I thought and said, there are 3 levels of God. 25 levels of transmission. But the Demon King has many enemies. The 3 minor gods are probably the most guarded. I'm sending you guys. I heard that, and I thought the SAO legends. They all moved soldiers. It takes some time. We'll be back in time. So the photographer just went and told the Kier name. Let's go back to Kwangwi City. I'll talk back with you. And then there's the fire. People run away quickly. What did the guy behind ask? You are from Kwangwi City. You ask, in the outside world, there are human cities. Not destroyed. Len is very excited to continue. I thought the outside world. It's completely taken over by the beast. It's good to get to the ground. The owner will definitely be happy. The photographer replied that Kwangwi City is not safe. It can be killed at any time. If the other powers of the field find out, I'm sure it won't be long. The City of Light will no longer exist. I am also serious about responding. Really, the Demon King of the world is not the power of man. They're not going to sit down with us. La Min said more. I think Kwangwi City be well prepared for the fight. The photographer listened and said nothing. Suddenly, the startled photographer stopped to ask the AI. They all stopped. I asked someone. You guys, the photographer looked around looking for. Then La Min said by transmitter. We don't feel any. Suddenly at the feet of there's an ice storm coming. I quickly jumped up and dodged. Land in a safer place. My whole body makes me shiver. You complain, so cold. Out of the darkness, an old man appeared. It turned out to be a dress. You look at him, thinking he's a master. The dress didn't say anything. He paused for a moment and asked them who they were. Why, stay tuned. We both stared at each other. Ye were still radiate overwhelming atmosphere. The photographer happily shouted up, Ye wore away Ra. I didn't expect you to be here. Surprised to ask who you are. You know my name. He laughed and told me his name. Your nephew-in-law. Dressed in a panic, ask what? The photographer hurriedly said this, waiting to go back to Kwangwi Kai City and continue. Everybody don't stress. They're all my people. What did you say? But I was sweating in my heart. Erectile enhancer dildo, deep hard to detect. So lucky to be my own. The other guy said, your son-in-law is a coward. Happy to think. I can't wait to see the dress here. It seems that he soon noticed the world. The power over him is the power of the law. The dress is already close to God level. There are also two other strange forces. I keep thinking, I don't blame the Dark Society. They have always dared not attack the city. The power of that love. It's not necessarily stronger than the chlorophyll family. Dressed a little quietly. And even my niece knows. Watch out. You're truly a man of the light. The dress also says, it's just a young age. There was such a genius golden power SAO. I've never heard of it. More Kwangwi Kai City. There is no false power transmission. The photographer explained, these people are the masters of the world of Jade. We are working with the Holy Spirit. They are the ones who sent me to protect me. I was startled to say, that's what the Jewel Seal family is. Then he turned to the Jews and said, 3 of you have been guilty. The heart rushed to say, the master is the master of photography. You don't need to be patient with us. Dressed in wonder. Sao Ngok seal the world again for photographer. Here the photographer hurriedly said, Mister. Let's go back to Kwangwi Kai City. Kwangwi Kai City has been targeted by the evil world. He looked at the Demon King and said, of course, this traitor is a traitor. You start telling me about that bastard. He's still like this. The dress is cold. The devil also knows everything. I think there are many, so many visitors. And then people started running away. While moving, the photographer asked Mister, how long have you been in the field? Dressed quietly for a moment and answered, I was early 5 years ago. We have discovered this new world. The photographer thought, I don't blame it. Master is always not in Kwangwi Kai City. And then you said, I have heard your story since childhood. Out of the yard. Based on their own efforts. Step by step to the top. You said you'd finally marry your daughter. Take up the position of owner. Become the legend of Kwangwi Kai City. I heard that and I was startled. Married daughter to the boss. So he hurriedly asked, what kind of family is your child? Photographer replied to heaven. Ye where accept meat. The photographer continued, I also came to the area not long ago. IP Han used to be in the government. Assassination of master's music. Poisoning the true dragon into the body. Fortunately, We know how to detox. Don't let Han succeed. You go on very quickly. Then, the gods of the world are associated with the dark society. Rebuttal lucky that the jury, my father killed. There's only one part of you that runs to the Dark Lord. Sighing, he said, I can't believe so much has happened this time. He said angrily, Asshole IP Han is all because of the afternoon IP. I want to be the owner for this kind of person. I don't know. Look at the people who have fallen into this situation. It's all the Cardinal's fault. Let's see how we deal with him. Silent photographer, and then imagine the eucalyptus scene. Spanked in the ass by the epididymis. The photographer said it wasn't the same thing. Then you're right. Ye family dress can hold the law of the force of the snow. I just want to feel a little bit. To build hair nape. It doesn't count as spiritual enlightenment. It's so far away. The photographer exclaimed, I am above you. IPGIA where I can feel 2 other strong air currents. If you can get the rule. Power can be increased many times. EP dressed startled looking through the photographer. Then say you can't. The photographer explained, I don't mean a fake ghost. Who is a pale face? The blood in you? Stop being burned. Consume your soul, radiate outward. I have no symptoms. When you get dressed, you laugh. You said you saw through. It's so embarrassing. I shouldn't have doubted you. The photographer also laughed. In my heart, I think, but I'm a fake. I can't believe it. And then you tell the truth. I understood the magic of light and haunts. So the mind is stronger than the average person. You see those 2 forces. EP dress startled said enlightenment 2 types. He often thinks, I trained more than 15. I feel a little bit of the law. He can hold 2 streams of rules. Power in your hands. Even if it's the king of Mingji. You can't have that kind of bravery. Cardboard look and DTO. You think you have that kind of power. And not arrogant in DTO here. In the arms of the Deem said photographer. On him. There's a part of the spirit of the snow. She said more. I'm afraid of the snow. The spirit is dead. The power of God in this way. Not at the top though. But also incredibly powerful. In addition, there is an air on him. It's not clear what aesthetic photography is. The power comes from another world. Then you tell IP to wear it right. IP wears away. If we can deconstruct the Kai practice, it will be simpler. He explained the nature of the Kai practice. It's actually illiteracy. Each type of practice is different. The spell of the snow must be like this. Look at that writing. This is a power plant. I can't believe it's so simple. That's why there's a surge of soul power on the IP. The minions saw it. Tell me what they are talking about in the front. La Min replied, look at the atmosphere. I'm sure he's teaching the prince photographer. That power law. In Quang Wei Kai City, the cardboard is sitting handling the work. Then the servant reported to the master. There was a mystic who sent a letter. He handed me the letter and told me to send it to you. Surprised, he asked the mystic. Then received the soul force test letter. After confirming, he said, there is no trap for you. The servant replied, yes. Aphrodite enters the room. He opened the letter. Take a look, then. He looked up and said this sign. Read the letter in the letter. Father, that day, after we left Quang Wei Kai City, think before you think after the night is hard to sleep. He was angry that he would write a letter about him. I keep reading, real, from before starting to return to Quang Wei. I already know I have no way of achieving the position of owner. When outside the teacher's training schedule, because I don't know how to protect myself. He was the only elder in the snow. My family is willing to support me. Without his support, let me be your master. It's useless, I'm not sure. My father for me in DTO. But we have no choice. In order to get my death, even if it means destroying the entire city, will not regret. Because when you took me to the city, at the moment I met her, I decided in this life that I wanted to marry her. The letter also says that we have 7 failures. But after joining the Dark Society, we have discovered a new world. It turns out the Dark Guild. This world is no power. Loving the owner is just that. There are a lot of people in this world who have a god level. Do you know what a god is? It's the ultimate power. Hold in your hands extremely powerful magic. It is an existence close to the gods. Then I'm used by the Demon King. The Demon King. He was very interested in Kwangwi Kai City. He continues to write, if the meaning is willing, bring all of Kwangwi Kai City to surrender. Certain, you can become a friend of the Demon King. There is nothing regrettable about making Kwangwi Kai small. Until then, maybe, parents can also enter the spiritual realm. The son of a bitch said that, and if the father said that, the Demon King of the world will mobilize the false powers to Kwangwi Kai Citadel. At that time, the city was afraid of only one grass. I no longer expect my father. The Lord considered. Angry eucalyptus banging his wet bladder up the fuck. He screamed for my support. I see you as my own son. It's a great honor that this time seems difficult. Then, suddenly, there's a call coming through. This makes it hard for me. Stunned by the open door, he walked in. He immediately said, Father. The last one said you were back. Yip replied that I am going back with my nephew-in-law. When he ate the bitter fruit, he asked coldly, which nephew-in-law? The photographer appeared smiling and said, Greetings, master. I haven't seen you in a long time. Yell at the rotten boy. What did you tell my father? The photographer shrugged and said everything. Your father is angry at you. But what ye wore was in front of the photographer. Then asked the cardinal, in the house of harmony of all things hung. He said sternly, treat the family, and talk all day with that face. He immediately stood up and said yes. IP seems to like this nephew-in-law very much. Get away protected. The photographer must be happy. See the expression of the eucalyptus like that. Chu Min thought. It's a thick mandarin shell with sharp nails. Put it on and ask for the jacket. The mayor doesn't sit back. To come to this little room to deal with the fortifications. IP Tone reply, this place is close to Death Valley. Khan, I'm here to have more time to care about her. IP listen, then suddenly laugh haha. To be honest, it is not like you at all. I looked at the broken letter. And the table was smashed, cracked. Ask the trader's letter. Reply to the letter of advice. Sighing, he said, you know, I know that's why. Return from Ming Cheng. The angry man said, if the power on that side is as strong as it is in writing, we have to think quickly about the solution. He looked at the photographer and said, this depends on the son-in-law. Then he went on. Your eyes are real in DTO. Your son-in-law is probably smarter than you. Even though heaven is a small world. But the snow, I don't care about the secular perspective. That's right, male eucalyptus raw. Let's wear it again. Situation. My son-in-law also taught me how to harness the power of the law. I was surprised to ask him to teach me. said the angry man. Since I was a child, I didn't like this kind of behavior. Even though the innate genius works rigidly, treatment is also poor. The reason for this is because you can't see clearly. Do you know wrong? He immediately swallowed his saliva and said hi. I was wrong, and I continued to say angrily. So far, we have not been able to meet the Korean eye. You must give him the position of master. It's good now. Teacher. Fortunately, Han did not become the owner. Wait until this species has become an owner. So what's going on? You said today. IP Han sells news of Kwang Wei Kai City. For the king of demons. A world we can still fight for. If other countries in the Mingcheng area come here, SAO. Then he turned to the photographer and said, the photographer is a comedian. But for the sake of Kwang Wei Kai City that dedicated themselves, your attitude is so strong. What to do if you threaten to kill this child? He looked at the bastard next to him and thought, threaten this boy. Continue to wear to class for IP cardboard for the rebellious Yi Han. You have too much love. It's better than a real girl. I'm a fool right now. I can't argue. Even if it is the owner, the father is scolded as usual. The photographer hurried to help IP wear. Please don't be angry. Music is like that. I'm used to it. The dress continues to scold you. Look at him, he is young. I know how to listen to 13-year-olds. I know more than you. He turned around and said, go back and make it right. Suddenly, he said the other side, the marriage of the regent to Van Nie. Such a decision. Let's wait for the devil problem to pass. You are looking for heaven. The owner negotiates a little. I am in a hurry to say snow. We're actively looking for heaven. Not too suitable SAO. Whatever you say, let them come to you. The dress does not dare to look directly. If not, let the kids decide. More. Is your age a little bit small? He said he was not happy to say. The girl in Kwang Wei Kai City has AI. It's not 10 years old. The epididymis is scolding at the same. You've been infected for a long time. You want to be the second worst. I can't get married. Sweating, he said, yes, yes. He glanced at the photographer. Then think he was waiting for the Lord to come back to him. Be a little honest. Why did he bring you back with him? The photographer speaks up. IP where when the family proposes to heaven, Raoui will come. I said wait for this to pass. I'm going to propose with the sheik and my parents. AP dressed cheerfully, swiped deep concealed. About the celebration, whatever you want, the city does not lack these things. And then glared again. I looked at the boy who was cold. You see that? Immediately agreed to be able to speak. Then IP said, the work of the devil. Be quick to change books. Let's go first to visit the village. Then retreat to practice. Then IP wears out the door. In the room, there's only eucalyptus and pottery. You tell your son-in-law to stay here. I have something to negotiate with you. He laughed and said, I haven't been back in a long time. First of all, I want to go see her. And then the epididymis suddenly poked its face in and said, you stay. If you still dare to do the same to me. Come here and tell your family. My father will teach him. The Lord listens to the answer yes. I'm waiting for you to wear it. You say that your son is very powerful. Now there's someone to stand on. I can't teach you, can I? The photographer laughed again. The music teacher is right. This word makes IP very spicy, but I only know how to swallow. And then I said, let's get over this. To the owner of your heavenly home. Go to the engagement ceremony first. Waiting to be 16 to get married. Yep, cardboard folded hands intimidate. But if you're 16 years old, you're not. I will still correct you. Happy to say, of course. Don't worry about music. You're right. The recent period of time, I've learned a little bit about the power system. You said my father-in-law has now reached the long-term rank. You can start getting the power of enlightenment. Listen to that. She took the letter and said, I just received a letter from Han. Watch the time pass. The photographer finished reading the letter. He grimaced and put it down on the table angrily. This is what makes you angry. Sigh eucalyptus. Photographer, replied Theo. We are known. The devil has 3 great powers. I explained the call. Is the god level. It's the fake power. Hold the power of magic. This type of player is very difficult to deal with. If there's a Theo in Kwangwi City. We've met Cataclysm. IP Tong replied. Fake power secondary god level. Afraid that even the snow spirit. It's not our rival either. Leave cardboard comments. We can only try to rely on ghosts. Love Lin battle against them. The photographer replied. On the way back from Mingcheng, I've seen their army. Surprised, I asked you to go too. The photographer replied. It takes more than 10 days to get there. 10,000 horses will take more than a month. The photographer continued. We must make every effort to extend the time. You can pull as long as you can. Say not. Period of time. Master IP Fa can grasp the power of the law. To become a god. Stress photographer says. About this time, we also have a chance to find a way. IP agrees with you. The photographer said. Even though Yihan clearly Kwangwi City. Like the palm of the hand, but he's had a long time out of training. He can't see thousands. The devil doesn't know. We now have 7 strategic legends. Apologize said in surprise. I don't know these 7. The photographer laughed. Temporary. The sword is like a sword to others. Then I will lead you to him. And then I'm serious. In short, we need to hide our power. Let the evil king of the world judge us wrong. Let them feel capable to swallow Kwangwi City. If not, the demon king contacted the other clans. It's hard to come. Then asked IP, how is the fighting power of their army? The photographer replied that there were only 10 serial numbers. The photographer said, the power sector is also very complicated. They will not be able to. I will send a false god. I'm sorry to say, 10 levels serial transmission. The Holy Spirit can also fight. We will respond if we also have goddess will. They are not our opponents. Yep, I agree. He said, give me a way to practice the Kai power method. I also want to start the process. Move the scene to Yeezy's special hospital, and so on. IP2 Van still, she's practicing, and she's still worried. He said he was back at the same time. It's strange that the photographer hasn't come looking for me yet. She's practicing, but she can't focus. You think she's distracted by what she wants him to do? To cultivate diligently. The photographer is paying attention now. In the mouth of the Ice Queen, there is a pearl. I think this is snow and ice. I bought it in the dark world. See the effectiveness of NDTO cultivation. The photographer is close to you. I thought I could just watch her in silence. How good this is. The photographer is getting closer. He deliberately closed his face and felt it. You think he's here? IP2 whispered cold. And the photographer is still looking at IP2 and so on. I looked at it for a moment, and it made me sad. After a while, I couldn't stand it anymore. So open your eyes. You see me looking at you from a very close distance. IP2 blush, face puffy cheeks. She stood up and asked the photographer to go so long. The outside world must be fun. The photographer laughed and said it too nicely. IPZ said furiously, "Next time, if you go alone, don't take me. I won't care about you anymore." The photographer froze out a little. "Then you explain. This exercise is too dangerous. Next time I will bring you." The teacher is still angry. He pulls her hand. You take people's hands and you pull them away and you talk. There's a lot of work to be done in the rush of time. We're here to call you to stop the six-pack. After arranging 3 laminists at another hospital, the crowd gathered again. Under the tree, the conservative society was fully present. 6 adventurous clamp neck photographer fun talking. "Master, you are finally back. 6 words that keep us worried for so long." He punched his friend in the chest. But punching him only causes his hands to swell. Pepper stopped the child at this time, still looking at the photographer, smiling happily. "Call photographer now, photographer, tell everyone." A lot happened around this time. I don't think about it either. I'll tell everyone later. He laughed and said, "First introduce yourself to everyone. That's the dance. From within the sleeve retrograde release. This makes us all stand out." They're all startled without a word. And then a bunch of people started shouting who she was. "Why is it so small?" The sword did not move, but stood still. Watch 6 curious adventurers run up. Then calculate to pry fingers into the dance team. I asked who lived. I saw someone trying to touch me. Then glare one eye. It made 6 planes fly and fall to the ground. At this time, 6 new adventurers say a lot. She happily picked up her friend and said, "Her name is Vu Diem. Brother Theo, she's a god of our people. Thousands of years old is the legendary super Vietnamese fake power. It's just her way of breaking up, her body being destroyed. This is once again the body. It should be so small." 6 adventurers stammered God on the whole legend. The dance salutes everyone. You were with the photographer. So let's call it a $1 billion universe. Stop sweating, say thousands of years old. IP2 and so on, he said with round eyes. "Billion. Over here." Vu Diem jumped over and sat down on the photographer's shoulder. 6 adventurers round their eyes asked the billion dance, "How big is the essence of a billion?" In the top 6 adventurers imagine a scene. Dance is a giant, standing on the lotus. All the people knelt at her feet. 6 kneeling below. Keep your head up and look at him. Keep your eyes up. I saw the underside of the goddess's dress. His face became filled with laughter. "But I told you I used to be human." You cold face, not as loud as you can imagine. 6 adventurers sweating my imagination. She tapped him on the shoulder to explain the dance. Billions are gods. He can see through the human head. See what they think. She sat on the photographer's shoulder and nodded. Then the photographer said, "The situation of Quang Wi Kai City for all of us to hear. That's the basic situation." The photographer can continue. "Next we have to do something. Park Z, 5 people. You go to all the markets of Quang Wi Kai City. Buy all the love." Holding the paper in his hand, he continued. The money was taken from Yang. Billion is okay. People agree that it doesn't matter. The photographer said, "We need other people to help us collect 11 numbers. The list of ingredients has been written." The 2 people who stopped Nie and IP2, and so on, nodded in response. "When we are done talking, I suggest we go." So the friends are gone. The photographer didn't say anything. The dancer was surprised to ask, "Why do you need so much love?" Reply to Vudim Billion. Do you know how to love art? The dancer was surprised to ask, "Love the spirit of magic." I seem to have heard others say it. No more impressions. The photographer explained, "This magic, you can use the method of love to stop training your own soul. This is a spell that damages the heavens." He said thoughtfully, "It is not good for future cultivation. If it's not forced, we don't want to use it. But Kwang Wei Kai now faces danger. We can only perform this magic." Looking up at the vast sky, "Tell me more about the future. Let the future speak, no matter what the cost. This time, we have to protect the city. Let me know if you have decided. I will not stop you. The people of Kwang Wei Kai City are also children, people of our people. If a strong enemy invades, I will try to protect the city." Laughing, he told Vudim, "Thank God, I have one more thing to do." Then the photographer went to the forgings. You start forging something. After a while, it seems to be finished. The photographer held up the clip and looked at it for a moment. It's a clear yellow circle. I wonder what you did with this. The photographer replied, "This is dragon amber. I bought it in the dark world. There is a place to use it." Then she turned herself into a panda lake. Then reach out your hand. Take the dragon amber and open your mouth. You spray a jet of dark energy into it. I was surprised to ask the dark. The photographer said again, "So it blows out a breath of light and power. I love your panda." That blended the power of darkness and light. Kwang Ham pure bold. Even to the power of legendary magic. But this trick is very slow. It's basically impossible to hit a false flag transmission. So the photographer will cultivate dragonstone as a container. Like this brings the two magical powers of sealing inside. And take advantage of the detached container. Once led two kinds of magic power. Let them touch. These two types of exercises quickly harmonize, producing large amounts of power. It's going to be a big explosion. The photographer held the amber and swayed it. Keep explaining. Due to the space of the small amber, the power of this explosion. Say not. It's 10 times more powerful than natural light. After listening to the dance, you have to start sweating. The photographer picked up the pen and said it again. Just draw on the script. Let's call it the bullet. The photographer took out a bunch of amethyst. Then pick up the hammer and say, "Go on." Start the time passing by. The chimney of the forge is constantly dropping out smoke. The photographer breathed out. Sitting in front of a pile of finished products, then tired of saying, "The whole material made more than 60 pieces. I'm exhausted. I was lucky that I ate so much medicine. It's also absorbing the Kai force laws around it. I go out satisfied to say yes, rest. Rest and wait for them to return. Stop shooting and go out. Look at the writing on the ground. You said the layout's done. You said 10 people. You sit in an empty position. The 6-year-old doesn't understand what's going on. He also told his sister to come in. All in the right place. The photographer stood in the middle and said, "Wait a minute. I will practice the art of love." You explain it clearly. My tiger panda won't stop. The Holy Spirit is ready. Every time a soul is lost, Panda Jiang Tiger will increase sharply. At the same time, there will be a lot of power. Vudim looks at the aesthetic battle Min Ven High Strength 2. The photographer continued, saying, the laws of Kai and soul power will be limited. Inside my battlefield, you give it your all.